Ladies and gentlemen, the 39th President of the United States, Jimmy Carter, and Mrs. Rosalind Carter.
There, President Carter and Rosalind Carter stepping down to take their seats. And of course, they'll be followed by all the former presidents who will be here. It is, John King, something kind of special about this, just the tradition of it all. It's all something which has been done every 4 years. It is something which has been done throughout our history.
And hopefully Americans watching around the country, even in these polarized, partisan times, can take a moment to take a breath, to celebrate the country, celebrate their democracy. And let me be the corny, idealistic American for a minute. There are people watching around the world as well. And every 4 years we do this. Sometimes a different party takes over power. In this case, you have a president winning a second term. He's our second African-American president. This re-election was in some way a validation for him and a repudiation of the critics who say he only won the first time because George W. Bush and the Republicans were so unpopular. There are a lot of people around the world who don't get this. And if their governments are letting them see this, whether they live in Iran or they live in China or they live anywhere else in the world, this is something to be proud of and something we take for granted.
And you know, Anderson, we're in Washington, we're so cynical about American politics, but you have to lose a lot of that cynicism today when you sit here and you watch hundreds of thousands of people out on the mall celebrating democracy.
Ladies and gentlemen, the 42nd President of the United States, William Jefferson Clinton, and Secretary of State, Hillary Rodham Clinton.
You've written a lot about Bill Clinton. For him, I mean, he loves this. He loves this.
He lives for this. He would like to live for it again another 4 years from now, I'm sure. But, you know, it's interesting. His second inaugural, 1996, Barack Obama was just starting his political career. That was the year he was elected to the Illinois Senate. And now he's enjoying Barack Obama's second term, and I think that they've had this sort of needy relationship this year, which has served them both very well.
What is their real relationship like? I mean, does it surprise you that they haven't been invited over for dinner?
No, it doesn't, because he hasn't invited that many people over for dinner. And no, Bill Clinton and Barack Obama did not necessarily have to get along personally, but they've gotten along professionally very well this year. It will always be an uneven relationship based on how much they need each other and what the circumstances are. Obviously, politically, they're both, I would call, pragmatic liberals. They're not that far apart in politics. But politics does strange things to people in terms of what their political needs are at that moment. And so there have been times when they've been very far apart, when Clinton's staff in particular has been very rough on Obama. And there are times when Obama didn't want to be around Clinton. But this last year, It just meshed perfectly. They needed each other and they helped each other.
I mean, one would argue that at the Democratic convention, Bill Clinton made the case for Barack Obama better than Barack Obama did.
They say in a way that the president could never have made for himself. They argue only Clinton could say that about
It's a lot easier when you're an ex-president.
But you say it so beautifully, David, when you talk about the difference in the political behavior of Bill Clinton and President Obama. That Clinton is a transactional politician in the way Obama could never be.
Bill Clinton's recreation is politics. That's what he does in his time off.
That's his life. That's what he enjoys. And the question is, looking at his wife, she's different. I think he enjoys it more than any other human being in the history of the world.
Yes.
You also have hearings for Benghazi coming up that Hillary Clinton will be testifying in front of.
And she, I think she's prepared for that, and she will hold her own there. It's not, though, an ideal way for her to end her tenure. She had this globe-trotting, history-making record there as this, Secretary of State who did, this public diplomacy in a way no one else had. And then she wraps it up on this odd note, getting sick and then having to appear before Congress at the very end. So sort of an unfortunate way for her to wrap it up, and yet I think in the grand scale she'll be remembered for what she did in the years before this event.
I think she'll be treated pretty well. Don't forget that she was very popular in the Senate, including among the Republicans.
Respected.
She's known for doing her homework. I mean, Hillary Clinton, when she was in the Senate, First Lady, was known as somebody who studied for the part she was about to play.
There's Beau Biden carrying the Bible down the stairs. It is the Bible that the Vice President will use to be sworn in. It's the family Bible.
What a big Bible.
It is extraordinary, John King, when you think about for people, again, watching around the world, the fight between Hillary Clinton when she was running against then Senator Barack Obama, to think that she would then take the job as Secretary of State. At the time during that race, during the most vitriolic part of it, it was unthinkable, I think, for many on her staff.
And Jed, and I think Hillary Clinton early on was underestimated in this regard. Somebody who was part of her husband's campaigns and a very controversial First Lady in Arkansas when she wanted to use her own maiden name, Hillary Rodham Clinton. watched her husband lose.
Gloria there on the left.
One of the celebrities up there, and a key Latino, part of the Latino outreach for this president. She watched, remember, Bill Clinton would tell you the best thing that ever happened to him was losing his first re-election battle as governor to Frank White in Arkansas. It humbled him, and it taught him that he couldn't always get his way. She knows a lot about politics. She's a loyal Democrat in addition to a warrior, if you will. And initially, could you see that partnership in the days and the weeks after the campaign? No. But now, you've seen again, will they be best of friends? I doubt it, but a very good relationship.
Speaking of Joe Biden being introduced, when you see the Bible and Vice President will use. For many down here, far away down on the National Mall, there are not that many video screens around, so many in the crowd cannot really see what is going on. They can sort of hear it over loudspeakers, but they can't actually see it. Wolf Blitzer, from where you are, obviously people have a much better vantage point.
Well, we're right near. If you look behind me, you can see what's going on over there. But it's an amazing scene up here on Capitol Hill on this front of the United States Capitol. It is jam-packed as we get ready for the next introduction. We just saw the Bidens being introduced. The Obama family, David Gergen, Kate, they're about to be introduced. Malia, Sasha, Mrs. Marion Robinson, the president's mother-in-law, they will be introduced momentarily. Then there'll be some more introductions. Dr. Jill Biden will be introduced, and then the Speaker of the House, the Majority Leader, more members of the family, the First Lady. This is a very, very carefully orchestrated, David, event right now. Every second literally has been structured, timed to make sure it goes through the pomp and ceremony that it deserves.
Absolutely, and it is planned down to the moment. They have people come out and practice it. First Family is well informed. One has a sense that there is a different Barack Obama taking the oath. He does look more confident coming here today. There was this great sense of hope and sort of novelty when he first came But here he comes. He's very much in command, it seems, today.
No, he knows. He's not just walking into it. He knows what the past 4 years have done. And we read in, we have many people who are going to watch this right now, David and Wolf.
Here comes Sasha and Malia. They're walking in right now with Mrs. Robinson. Caitlin O'Neill, the chief of staff to the Minority Leader Nancy Pelosi, is escorting them in. By the way, we've just learned that Eric Shinseki, the Secretary of Veterans Affairs, is the member of the cabinet who will not be here because of they always leave someone out. God forbid if something horrible were to happen here. All right, David, we're about to hear the speech from the president after he's sworn in by the Chief Justice of the United States, John Roberts. What does he need to do, David? You worked for 4 American presidents. Mm-hmm. What does he need to do in this 20-minute speech, shall we say, that is about to take place?
I want to go back to something Jessica Yellen reported earlier on, and that was, in talking to the White House aides, that he would like to reset the conversation. That was the phrase she used. And it does seem to me, if they can do that in a city that's dysfunctional, and it's especially fitting in some ways that the president comes to the Congress to make that speech, can we reset the conversation? And I wonder if the coffee this morning, the bipartisan coffee, was not intended to sort of begin that resetting. So we'll see. I think if he can get that theme, that's much more important to do that than to get the programs. This is about poetry, not about programs.
Mm-hmm. I've also heard that the second inaugural is a response to the first. Do you think that is what we'll hear today?
I think it'll be a response to the first term.
Yeah.
And the fact, as David Marinus was saying and Gloria was saying earlier, that there's not the same sense of crisis this time. There is more of a sense of opportunity, but also a realism about how hard it is to get things done.
Ladies and gentlemen,
listen
the
to this.
Of the president, Malia Obama and Sasha Obama. Also, Miss Marion Robinson, accompanied by Catherine.
It's so nice to see these 2 daughters of the president and the first lady, because we've seen them grow up over these past 4 years.
It's been really amazing to watch them grow up in the White House. Look how tall they've grown. For one thing that we've seen. Both of their parents are very tall, but just you've seen the sense where they really kind of shied away from the cameras. And while Malia does still somewhat, and Sasha definitely tends towards the spotlight, you see that they really are quite comfortable in the position that they're in. And I think that is a testament to their parents and how they have operated within the White House.
I agree. And the time that they've actually spent at night, on one hand, people say he doesn't socialize enough, but on the other hand, he does spend a lot of time with his daughters. He and Michelle spend a lot of time with their daughters, and it's working. It seems to have a very good family. I must say, after a number of first families that seem somewhat dysfunctional in terms of raising your kids, we've had 3 presidents in a row now: the Clintons, and the Bushes, and now the Obamas, who've, I think, done a really good job with their kids.
They certainly have. And, I loved yesterday after the president was sworn in the private ceremony, which we all saw live here around the world. He hugged his 2 girls. And here comes some more guests being introduced. Let's see who this is. So this is Jill Biden, Dr. Jill Biden, the second lady of the United States. When little Sasha, there's the picture of her on the screen. She hugged her dad and
she basically said, "You didn't mess it up.
You didn't mess it up this time." How cute was that?
Very good. I think we do see. We saw with the kids' inaugural concert this weekend. I do think we see a lot of influence that these 2 girls have had on their parents and kind of what their parents put their focus on, because let's also be honest, young people were a big reason why Barack Obama made it into the White House in the first place.
That's right. And what we also know is that one of the things that's affected him emotionally the most over the last year was Sandy Hook.
Yes.
And it was the loss of those children, and relating it to his own daughters made a big, big difference in how he responded. And then the whole effort now on gun control, I think, comes from that deep impact that Sandy Hook had upon him as a father.
It impacted the country as well. It was Wolf and I were both there covering it. It was a horrible thing to be there to witness, but you did see a change in him when he came to speak to those families and just how deeply it impacted him. That's absolutely right.
If you take a look next to the girls, Sasha and Malia, you can't see her right now, but Mrs. Marion Robinson, the mother-in-law of the president, she's played a really critical role in helping to raise these girls. She lives in the White House with the first family, and she's really been deeply involved in almost every aspect of their lives, and it's a nice thing to see. Anderson, I got to tell you, here up on Capitol Hill, it's very exciting.
Biden, accompanied by Mrs. Alexander,
Let's listen to the
Mrs.
introduction.
Boehner, Mrs. Cantor, Assistant Secretary of the Senate Sheila